Thinking about living in Palm Springs? Is it a good idea to move here now? Want to know both the good and bad sides of living in Palm Springs? If you're thinking about moving to Palm Springs, this video is for you. It's the complete and ultimate guide to living in Palm Springs. We'll discuss the pros and cons of living here, how much it costs to live here, and also some things I wished I'd known before moving here. So in this video, you're going to learn all that and lots more. Now, in this first part of the video, we'll discuss whether it's a good idea to live in Palm Springs year-round. So let's get started right now. Palm Springs is a world-class resort destination. Palm Springs has great weather. It's affordable compared to many other California cities, and there's always something to do. Palm Springs is a place where many people want to move to. So let's get started talking about living in Palm Springs year-round. There are so many reasons you may want to do it. Reason number one, the weather. Many people come here in the winter when the temperatures are in the 70s and 80s, and it's really beautiful outside. But it is the desert, and you expect it to be hot in the summertime. So for about 3 months in the summer, it gets really hot. The hottest months are July, August, and September. So locals plan to do most of their outdoor activities in the mornings when it's the coolest. So thank goodness for air conditioning in the summer. It's normally always sunny here. So 9 months out of the year, it's really great, and you can really enjoy outdoor living. So in the summer, many people enjoy time by the swimming pool. And of course, we're only a couple of hours away from the beaches. And the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway offers special prices for summer passes, and temperatures at the top of the tram on Mount San Jacinto are about 30 degrees cooler than down here on the desert floor. The Palm Springs area doesn't receive much rainfall. We usually receive about 5 inches of rain each year, and it rains only about 15 days in the year. People here are not used to rain very much, so be extra careful when you're driving because when it does rain, the roads do become very slick. If you're really worried about whether you could live here in the summertime, one thing you may want to think about is to come during the hot months and stay at one of our many hotels or at an Airbnb and try it out and see what you think. Reason number two, there's always something to do. Let's start with Palm Springs' most popular tourist attraction, the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway, and it's open year-round, only being closed for a few weeks in October for its annual maintenance. The Palm Springs Aerial Tramway features the world's largest rotating tram cars and takes you from the desert floor up 8,516 feet to the top of Mount San Jacinto. It's a 2.5-mile trip that takes about 10 minutes, and the views all along the way, well, they're just amazing. Golf. Something the Palm Springs area and the Coachella Valley are known for, and it's played year-round. There are about 130 courses here in the Palm Springs area, ranging from fairly easy courses to more challenging, including the pro courses where the LPGA golf tournaments and the PGA tournaments have been played. Hiking. Year-round hiking trails are numerous, from less strenuous to more difficult. You'll find them all here. Tennis. Of course, the BNP Paribas Open is the 5th largest tennis event in the world, and it's held here at the Indian Wells Tennis Gardens. And you'll find numerous tennis and pickleball courts all across the entire Coachella Valley. Village Fest in downtown Palm Springs is held every Thursday night, and it's very popular. You'll see downtown Palm Springs turned into a street fair with many vendors and all kinds of things to buy. The Palm Springs International Film Festival in January. It recognizes the top year's films, and it's very popular. It's a star-studded event. And in the spring, Coachella Music and Arts Festival and the Stagecoach Music Festivals held here at the Polo Grounds in Indio. They are some of the top music festivals in the world. There's always so much to do. See my video, 21 Things to See and Do in Palm Springs, for more events and activities that take place here. When you drive into Palm Springs from the west, you can't help but notice all the wind turbines. That's because the area between the San Jacinto and the San Bernardino Mountains, known locally as the Pass, creates a natural wind tunnel. So unless you're tucked up against the side of the San Jacinto or Santa Rosa Mountains, or live in one of the many cove areas, you'll experience some wind. The windiest times of the year are spring and fall, with January and March being tied for the windiest months. Reason number three is the cost of living. First, let's look at the housing cost. Palm Springs ranks higher than the national average because home prices in California are overall higher than the rest of the U.S. In Palm Springs, as of this recording in November 2021, the median home price is $960,000 in Palm Springs. Of course, you can find more expensive homes and less expensive homes. It really depends on the home and the location that you're looking for. Remember, location does make a big difference. If you think Palm Springs prices are expensive, well, it's not the most expensive area here in the Coachella Valley. Indian Wells is the most expensive, with median home prices at $1,268,000. That's up over 42% from just a year ago. The least expensive medium homes is in Desert Hot Springs, where the median price is $335,000. Transportation costs. While we do have public transportation that's widely accessible, here in Palm Springs and really the greater Coachella Valley, most people have a car for their primary transportation mode. And of course, that brings up the cost of gas. California has higher gasoline costs because of refinery requirements and clean air. So the cost of a gallon of gasoline is definitely higher here. However, it is less expensive than the gallon of gas in Los Angeles or San Diego. And electric vehicles are also becoming more popular, and you can find charging stations from one end of the Coachella Valley to the other. Let's look at grocery costs. The average grocery cost in Palm Springs is about the same as the U.S. average, and about 5% less than the California average. The cost of utilities to live in Palm Springs are 7% higher than the U.S. average and just slightly higher than the California average. Healthcare is another area where the cost of living is less expensive. The average healthcare cost in Palm Springs is 12% less than the U.S. average and 7% less than the California average. Palm Springs is fortunate to have a number of healthcare providers and services, including Desert Regional Medical Center in Palm Springs and the JFK Hospital in Indio, which are both a part of the Desert Care Network, and close by is Eisenhower Medical Center in Rancho Mirage. Reason number 4, taxes. Yes, all taxes are higher here, from sales taxes to property taxes and to income taxes. The Palm Springs sales tax is 9.25% and the Palm Desert sales tax is 7.75%. The local sales tax you pay is a combination of state, county, and local sales tax rates, so it can vary city by city and county by county. A rule of thumb for property taxes is 1.25% times the purchase price of a property. California has among the highest taxes in the nation. Sales and income taxes are generally high, but effective property tax rates are about the national average. California's base sales tax rate of 7.25 is higher than that of any other state, and its top marginal income tax rate of 13.3% is the highest state income tax rate in the country. Of course, income tax rates will vary depending on each taxpayer's individual finances. Reason number 6, walkability. As mentioned earlier, you really need a car to get around from one place to another. Palm Springs has a walk score of 59, meaning it's somewhat walkable, and Palm Desert's walkable score is 27. So in Palm Springs, the walkable areas are the downtown Palm Springs area, the Uptown Shopping District, Ruth Hardy Park, Demuth Park, and of course, the hiking trails. And in Palm Desert, the walkable areas include El Paseo Shopping Area, the Westfield Mall, and the Palm Desert Civic Park. But you really need a car to get to each of these destinations. Now that you know more about why you might want to live in Palm Springs year-round, to help you have the information you need to make a good decision, let's look at the reasons you might not want to move to Palm Springs. Hi, Neal here, Realtor in the Palm Springs area. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to learn all about the Palm Springs area, be sure to hit the bell and subscribe. And that way you'll know every time I release a new video. We're getting calls, emails, and texts every day from people moving and relocating here to the Palm Springs area, and we absolutely love it. Palm Springs is a world-class resort destination. Palm Springs has great weather. It's affordable compared to many other California cities, and there's always something to do. Palm Springs is a place where many people want to move to. So why wouldn't you want to move to Palm Springs? I put together a list from things I've noticed about living here, and also from comments and thoughts from friends and from clients. They've moved here and they've told me what they really don't like about the Palm Springs area. So let's get started. Reason number 1, the heat. Yes, it's the desert, and you expect it to be hot. But for about 3 months in the summer, it gets really hot. You really haven't felt hot until you've been outside when it's 122 degrees on the asphalt and the sun is really beating down. And to make things even worse, sometimes we have humidity in the summer, which comes from the Gulf of Mexico, and then it really gets brutal. You can imagine getting into your car when it's sitting there and it's been 120 degrees. So if you can't stand really hot temperatures, maybe the summer is not the time to be here in Palm Springs. The hottest months are July, August, and September. So locals plan to do most of their outdoor activities in the mornings when it's the coolest. Afternoons between 3 and 4 is when the highest temperatures hit in the summertime. And it doesn't really cool off that fast in the evening. So thank goodness for air conditioning in the summertime. And remember, also the intense summer sun requires extra care for yourself, including sunscreen, sunglasses, and hats. And things that are outside in the summer sun will crack and fade, including outside patio furniture, cushions, and umbrellas. Reason number 2, the wind. When you drive into Palm Springs from the west, you can't help but notice all the wind turbines. That's because the area between the San Jacinto and San Bernardino Mountains, known locally as the Pass, creates a natural wind tunnel. So unless you're tucked up against the side of the San Jacinto or Santa Rosa Mountains or live in one of the coves, you'll be experiencing some wind. The windiest times of the year are spring and fall, with January and March being tied for the windiest months. These gusty surface winds usually begin in the late morning hours, peak in the afternoon, and then they die out by early evening. Winds in the low levels become much lighter at night and the pre-dawn hours. And one other thing, the wind does blow the dust and sand from the desert around, so it's a very fine sand, and it gets into everything, including your home, even though you have all the doors and the windows closed. Reason number 3, taxes. Yes, all the taxes are higher here, from sales taxes to property taxes to income taxes. The Palm Springs sales tax is 9.25%, and the Palm Desert sales tax is 7.75%. The local sales tax you pay is a combination of state, county, and local sales tax rates, so it can vary city by city and county by county. A rule of thumb for property taxes is 1.25% times the purchase price of a property. California has among the highest taxes in the nation. Sales and income taxes are generally high, but effective property tax rates are just slightly below the national average. California's base sales tax rate of 7.25% is higher than that of any other state, and its top marginal income tax rate is 13.3%. It's the highest state income tax rate in the country. Of course, income tax rates will vary depending on each taxpayer's individual finances. Reason number 4, rain, or lack of it. Yes, we are in the desert, and the average rainfall is only 5 inches a year. But when it rains, it creates havoc. Roads become really slick fast, and people aren't really used to driving on the rain-slick roads, so that does create some problems. Most streets don't have gutters, so if it gets very much rain in a short period of time, it just runs down the street like a river. In fact, sometimes roads wash out, or they're closed, particularly in the west end of the Coachella Valley, including Indian Canyon, Gene Autry Trail, and Vista Chino. So the good news is rain happens only about 15 days per year, but beware when it does rain because people here just aren't used to it. Reason number 5, transportation. We have the Sunline bus transportation system serving the Coachella Valley, also taxis, Lyft, and Uber. But the truth is, you really need a car to get around. Once you're at a place like downtown Palm Springs, the river in Rancho Mirage, or El Paseo in Palm Desert, you can park and walk around. But to get from where you are to where you want to be, a car is a must. And that brings us to the cost of gasoline, which is more expensive here. The cost of gasoline in California is usually the highest in the country. That's because of taxes on each gallon and refinery costs because California requires special blends to fight smog and air pollution. And the blends of gas change from summer to winter. Electric cars are becoming more popular, and you can find charging stations everywhere. So factor in transportation costs when thinking about moving here. Reason number 6, diversity. If you're not comfortable about diversity, then Palm Springs might not be the place for you. Palm Springs is truly a melting pot. You can find all kinds of cultures and lifestyles here. Palm Springs is known for its LGBTQ community, but on any given day, you'll find young and old, all ages and nationalities, and the common denominator is that people are, for the most part, very friendly here. So if you don't like diversity, then you may want to reconsider. One thing diversity does bring to the area is a wide variety of places to dine. The opportunity to explore all kinds of food is just as diverse as the population, so there's never a lack of flavors to explore. Along with the population diversity comes restaurant diversity. Both make the Palm Springs area special and different from many other areas in the country. Reason number 7, walkability. As mentioned earlier, you really need a car to get around from one place to another. Palm Springs has a walk score of 59, meaning it's somewhat walkable, and Palm Desert's walkability score is 27. So in Palm Springs, the walkable areas are downtown Palm Springs, the Uptown Shopping District, Ruth Hardy Park, Demuth Park, and of course the hiking trails. And in Palm Desert, the walkable areas include El Paseo Shopping and the Westfield Mall, and of course the Palm Desert Civic Park. But you really need a car to get to each of these places from your destination. So if walkability is really important to you, then you may need to reconsider moving to the Palm Springs area. Reason number 8, snowbirds in the winter season. Yes, Palm Springs is famous as a worldwide resort destination, and we love the tourists and snowbirds. But as a local that lives here year-round, we really notice the increase in traffic during the snowbird season, which goes from mid-November until about April. The main complaint we hear is driving. People that don't live here all the time really aren't in the correct lane. They drive slower than the speed limit, and sometimes they get lost, and that really slows down the traffic. So the checkout lines get longer at grocery stores, wait time at restaurants is longer, and you need more patience when you're driving. We really shouldn't complain because tourism is the driving force of our local economy, and we normally welcome tourists and snowbirds with open arms. So we need to remember that when our patience starts running just a little thin. Reason number 9, fear of earthquakes. Yes, we do have earthquakes here. And yes, we are located very near the San Andreas Fault. In fact, the San Andreas Fault starts under the Salton Sea, and it kind of parallels Interstate 10 through the Coachella Valley. So this is earthquake country, and you need to be prepared for one because they happen from time to time with no notice. Along with the San Andreas Fault, there are numerous other active faults that could cause damage. Most buildings have been retrofitted to withstand moderate earthquakes, and we're reminded constantly to have preparations on hand in the event we do have the big one. But it's somewhat unnerving when the wall starts shaking and the shaking really begins and you wonder, is this really the big one? So if you don't like earthquakes or the possibility of one, then this definitely is not the place for you. Reason number 10, the cost of homes. While Palm Springs and the Coachella Valley are more affordable than many other California cities, the cost of homes here in the area is 79% higher than the average homes here in the U.S. But it's less than the California average, which is about 139% higher than the U.S. average. In Palm Springs, the average price of a standalone home as of this recording is $935,000. Home prices have jumped 8.1% from last year, and the trend is expected to continue for the foreseeable future. So if higher home costs aren't something that you're crazy about, then this place definitely isn't for you. I've done a whole nother video on the cost of living here. You may want to check that out. Still thinking about living in Palm Springs? Great! It's really a wonderful place to live. But before you make the jump, I'm going to share with you a few things I wished I'd known before moving here. Here's what you need to know if you're thinking of moving to Palm Springs, California. If you love to golf, you love hiking, biking, playing tennis, and you enjoy majestic mountain views, well, these are just a few of the many reasons that Palm Springs might just be a good fit for you. The population of Palm Springs as of 2020 is 47,140. It's a snowbird destination, and in the winter, the population triples. Spanning over 94 square miles, Palm Springs is the largest city by land in Riverside County. Palm Springs is laid out in a checkerboard square design with every other section owned by the area's original settlers, members of the Agua Caliente Band of Cahuilla Indians. Palm Springs is a part of the Agua Caliente Indian Reservation. The average household income in Palm Springs is $45,497. The median house value is $415,300. The median age in Palm Springs is 54.1 years, and the Climate Comfort Index is 7.4 out of 10. 72.3% of Palm Springs population own their own homes. So let's dive into the weather here in Palm Springs. How much does it rain in Palm Springs? Well, during the entire year, it rains 15 days, with the rainiest month beginning in February. Overall, Palm Springs receives 5 inches of rain per year, and by comparison, the average U.S. rainfall is 38 inches per year. The warmest month in Palm Springs is July, with the average high temperature being 108 degrees, but it can get warmer. The coolest month is January, with high temperatures of 72 and average low temperatures of about 46. On average, there are 270 glorious sunshine days here in Palm Springs, while the average U.S. only has 205 days of sunshine. Palm Springs is the perfect place to enjoy all of your outdoor activities. Grab your tennis rackets, your golf clubs, your running shoes. Head over to Tockwitz Canyon for some breathtaking views on your hike. There are trails for all levels and a waterfall at the end of the trail. You can rent bicycles in downtown Palm Springs, and you can see all types of biking trails in the Palm Springs community. It's a very bike-friendly area. Golf, anyone? Let me tell you about one of the Palm Springs area's biggest attractions. It's golf. Home to the PGA West and Mission Hills, where the LPGA is played at the Dinah Shore Course, you'll find enough fairways to fit any player's skill, level, or age. How about a little serve in the sun? Palm Springs has an impressive collection of both public and private tennis courts. If you're a pickleball fan, the Muth Park has added pickleball courts to meet the growing demands for all players. We're still talking about the good and bad about living in Palm Springs, and we still have a few more things to talk about before you start packing your bags. Hi, Neal here, Realtor in the Palm Springs area. I help people find, buy, and sell homes, and I absolutely love it. Let's get started about the things you need to know about moving to Palm Springs. Palm Springs is a great place to live. In fact, it's really easy to live here. With sunshine 350 days a year, beautiful mountain views in all directions, and year-round warm weather, great restaurants, shopping, great medical facilities, golf, tennis, hiking, and all the things to do all the time, it's really hard to find a better place to live. Palm Springs offers a desirable lifestyle. If you're thinking about living here full-time, part-time, or retiring here, you can really get a lot more for your money here than many other California cities. Affordability is one of the bright spots about living here in the 9 cities in the Coachella Valley. Our costs are way less than San Francisco, Los Angeles, Orange County, and San Diego. I've done another video, Can You Afford to Live in Palm Springs? It compares the Palm Springs area to other major cities like New York, Boston, and Chicago. You may want to check that video out. The weather here in Palm Springs is a big draw to the area. However, it's not always hot. We actually do have distinct seasons, and depending on where you live in the Coachella Valley, the weather can really vary. We don't get that much rain here, just about 5.5 inches a year, and we usually get that rain in about 15 days. So normally the weather is really dry and sunny, which is why people really love living here. It does get hot here in the summertime. The warmest months are July and August, but it can also be very hot in June and usually the first part of September. Temperatures in the daytime are almost always above 100 and can get as high as 120 degrees. We locals usually stay inside in the afternoon and do most of our running around in the morning before it really gets hot. And remember, it is a dry heat, so it's not humid like many other parts of the country. Fall and spring temperatures are usually ideal in the 80s and 90s. And winter temperatures are usually in the 70s during the day and the 50s at night. However, some nights can get fairly cold with temperatures in the 40s. Some areas of the desert also get more wind than other areas. For example, the north end of Palm Springs, which is why you see all the wind turbines there. As mentioned earlier, the Palm Springs area is more affordable than many other California and U.S. cities, even though California is among the most expensive states to live in. The median home prices are generally lower in most of the 9 Coachella Valley cities compared to California as a whole. Home and condo prices vary based on lots of factors, of course. The average cost of living for groceries and healthcare are also lower here. I've done several videos about the cost of living for each of the Coachella Valley cities. Check them out for further information. The economy here is primarily, and not surprising, tourism. Tourism generates the most money and jobs. We always have something going on, which is why tourism generates over $7 billion annually here in the Coachella Valley. We have numerous events and festivals, including the American Express PGA Golf Tournament, the LPGA ANA Inspiration Golf Tournament, the BNP Paribas Tennis Tournament at the Indian Wells Tennis Gardens, the Stagecoach and Coachella Music Festivals, the art festivals, and numerous other events taking place all year round. There are a variety of places to live here in the Coachella Valley, and you'll most likely be able to find a place that fits your budget and your lifestyle. From mid-century modern homes, which the area is well known for, to Spanish and Mediterranean style homes, to contemporary style. You can find just about all types and styles of homes and condos here. And if you're wondering, when is the best time of year to buy a home here? Well, our activity remains strong throughout the year. In fact, in the past few years, more homes and condos have been sold in the summer months than in the winter months. And the prices of homes do not tend to adjust seasonally here. One question that comes up a lot about buying a home here is, what is lease land? Parts of Palm Springs, Cathedral City, and Rancho Mirage are on lease land. That is, land owned by members of the Agua Caliente Indians, the original inhabitants of the area. This goes all the way back to 1876, when the Pacific Railroad laid the first railroad tracks here. The government gave the railroad a checkerboard out of every square mile of land for 10 miles on each side of the railroad right-of-way. Members of the Agua Caliente tribe got the non-Pacific Railroad squares. So today, some of the area's most popular neighborhoods are on Indian lease land. So if you're thinking about buying here, you really need to check this out further. Another common question is, how windy is it? Well, we do experience wind all across the Coachella Valley, and certain times of the year are windier than other times. The windiest times are usually the end of summer and late spring. What about drought? Droughts here in the desert are a fact of life, and there does seem to be some consistent cycles of weather. And yes, we do have earthquakes here. Another question we get asked, is it dead in the summertime? Well, not anymore. The Coachella Valley population has increased, and we're really a year-round community. In the summer months when it's hot, as mentioned earlier, you do most of your outdoor activities in the morning, and the summer evenings are amazing. And remember, that's why we also have lots of swimming pools here. Another question is it boring to live here? Well, the answer really is you can be as bored or as active as you like in Palm Springs. There's something going on year-round, as we mentioned before, and tourism is the largest part of our economy. Besides the events we mentioned earlier, we do have the Palm Springs International Film Festival, Modernism Week, the White Party, Biker Weekend, Tour de Palm Springs, Splash House, Gay Pride. It's really hard to keep up with everything that's going on all the time. And we do have one of the best small art museums in the country, plus all the outdoor activities, including hiking, golfing, pickleball, tennis, horseback riding, and of course, swimming. The Palm Springs area is a world-class destination for a reason, and people really do love living here and the relaxed atmosphere and lifestyle that's really affordable compared to many other communities. Be sure to check out my video about the pros and cons of living here in Palm Springs. So you think you might like living in Palm Springs. Next, let's take a look at the cost of living. Let's find out how expensive it is to live here in Palm Springs. So, how much does it really cost to live in the Palm Springs area? Well, the good news is the cost of living in Palm Springs is 18% lower than the California average. The bad news is the cost of living in Palm Springs is 31% higher than the national average. So let's take a look at some of the costs here, starting with the cost of homes and condos for sale. The homes and condo prices have really increased this last year. A lot of this has been caused by high demand and very low inventory of homes for sale, as well as low interest rates. Also, the ability to work from home due to the pandemic allowed many people to rethink where they really wanted to live. And because of the lower cost of living here in the Palm Springs area compared to Los Angeles, Orange County, and San Diego, and other California cities, Palm Springs became more desirable and attractive, and it's only a couple of hours away from most of these areas. All of that being said, the price of an average size home in Palm Springs in late 2021 was $1,182,000, compared to a year earlier when the price was $876,000. Now that's a 34.9% change or increase in the price in just 12 months. The price of an average size condo in Palm Springs is now about $389,000 compared to just a year ago when the price was $303,000. So that's a gain of about 28%. Some of our other cities here in the desert are seeing similar prices, including Rancho Mirage and Indian Wells. Palm Desert's average home price is $705,000, and La Quinta's average home price is $873,000. The least expensive homes here in the Coachella Valley can be found in Cathedral City at $515,000, Indio at $503,000, Coachella at $376,000, and Desert Hot Springs coming in at $360,000. Looking at the larger picture, California is about 139% higher than the national average for housing, and Palm Springs is 79.6% higher than the national average. That's one of the reasons that people coming from the more expensive areas of California think Palm Springs is really a bargain. Many people move to the Palm Springs area for our lifestyle and our 350 days of sunshine each year. Next, let's look at cost of groceries. Since California is such a huge agricultural state, a lot of things you buy at the grocery store are locally grown. For example, the area just southeast of Palm Springs grows lots of fruits and vegetables. So the cost of groceries here in Palm Springs is actually about the same as the U.S. average, and California overall is just a little higher at 5% more than the average U.S. grocery cost. In addition, you'll find local farmers markets that are held here each week. Now, let's look at utility costs. Utilities here are a little more expensive than the national average, actually about 14% higher. Cell phone costs can vary. All the major providers are here, including Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. For cable TV, Spectrum serves most of the Coachella Valley, and Frontier is here also, but not in all areas. And of course, Dish Network and DirecTV are also very popular. I use Spectrum for my internet at home, and it costs about $75 a month. However, they probably have a cheaper price that you can get if it's bundled with one of their other services. One other thing, parts of the Coachella Valley, especially rural areas and the eastern side, including La Quinta, have electric service provided by the Imperial Irrigation District, or IID, and it's less expensive than electricity provided by Southern California Edison. Solar plays a big role here also. Palm Springs is the #2 city in the nation for solar power per capita. Now, solar power can greatly reduce your electric bill, especially in the summertime when you need air conditioning. Homeowners can secure lower energy rates while storing energy at home with solar panels and batteries. So, how much do solar panels cost in Palm Springs? With a solar panel system size of 5 kilowatts, an average solar installation as of January 2022 ranges in cost from $11,262 to $15,238. And that's after accounting for federal investment tax credits and other state and local incentives. There are a number of companies that provide solar here, and they're all worth checking out. Some areas of the Coachella Valley only have propane also, because natural gas just isn't available everywhere. Now, let's take a look at healthcare costs. The Palm Springs area has 3 hospitals: Desert Regional in Palm Springs, Eisenhower in Rancho Mirage, and JFK in Indio. Desert Regional is also the area's trauma hospital, and Eisenhower Medical Center has been named one of the top 100 hospitals in the U.S. Healthcare costs here are about 13% less than the U.S. average, and you'll find specialists in every kind of medicine. California as a whole has healthcare costs that are about 8% less than the U.S. average. What about taxes? California is known for higher taxes. There's basically 3 taxes: state income tax, sales tax, and property tax. California income tax rates range from 1% to 12.3%, depending on taxable income and, of course, your filing status. Also, residency status determines what is taxable, and regardless of filing status, an additional 1% tax applies to income exceeding $1 million. Sales tax rate is a combination of state, county, and city sales tax rates. Some cities here in the Coachella Valley have different tax rates than others. For example, the Palm Springs sales tax as of January 2022 is 9.25%, whereas the sales tax in Palm Desert and Rancho Mirage is 7.75%. And La Quinta comes in at 8.75%. California property taxes are based on the purchase price of the property. So when you buy a home, the assessed value is equal to the purchase price. The effective property tax here in Riverside County is 0.95%, which is one of the highest in the state. A rule of thumb to determine what your property taxes might be here is to take your purchase price times 1.25%. One other thing to look for is Mello-Roos, which is a tax on improvements and sometimes services in newer subdivisions and developments. This tax will also show up on your general property tax statement. So be sure to ask about this if you're buying a home here. In California, the average cost of gasoline is usually the highest in the nation. The reasons for this, besides normal supply and demand factors, is expensive additives required for California gas that makes it cleaner burning and also less polluting. Plus the changes from winter to summer gas blends, and Californians pay 0.81 cents tax per gallon to the state. And that's one reason why the electric vehicles are becoming more popular here. Let me know in the comments below if you're thinking about buying an electric car here in the near future. Public transportation is available here as well, also taxis, Lyft, and Uber. But you really need a car to get around. What about dining? Palm Springs and the entire Coachella Valley are well known for extraordinary dining experiences that both visitors and locals enjoy. Because of Palm Springs weather, and even more so because of COVID, most restaurants offer inside and outdoor dining. While restaurant prices will vary, dining without the drink costs added in can cost anywhere from $20 to $50 a person. Of course, fast food prices are somewhat less. And one thing to look for, many of the restaurants that have outside dining also have great views. If you own a home here, you may want to know how much your pool service and your gardener will cost. Well, pool service can range from $150 to $200 a month, and that's with weekly or even twice weekly service. And a gardener that comes twice a month will also cost you between $150 and $200. What about golf? The greater Palm Springs area has about 110 golf courses, and there's a big range of prices based on which course you choose to play. For example, during the winter season, you can golf at Tockwitz Creek Golf Course in Palm Springs for as low as $49. If you book ahead, and if you want to play at Silver Rock in La Quinta, well, they're now using dynamic pricing. You may ask, what is that? Well, dynamic pricing is real-time pricing. Prices will fluctuate up and down based on changing conditions such as time of the year, increase in demand, weather, and other factors. So prices are now based on these factors. So this pricing method is relatively new to golf. However, it's common in other travel and hospitality businesses. So when checking just a few minutes ago, pricing for 4 players in March 2022 would be $175 per player. That's the complete and ultimate guide of everything you need to know about living in Palm Springs. Let me know in the comments below if there's something you want to know that was not included in the video. I'd love to make a video on it and help you guys out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for future videos. I'm sure you'll find this content valuable. Now that you know all about living in Palm Springs, watch this video to see all the things to see and do here.